going on, Jarity Athletes? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I lost 70 pounds jumping rope and how it changed my entire life. So in case you're not aware, I went from 260 pounds to 190 pounds, so 70-pound weight loss transformation. We've made a video about this in the past, but it's been like 5 years, so I thought it was time for an update. So today, I want to tell you why I think, personally, jumping rope is the best overall fitness tool on the planet, and then how it changed my life physically, mentally, financially, just everything in my life. Spiritually, no, just kidding, maybe a little bit. All right, first I want to give you guys some background. So I was a bigger guy in college. I played not even 1 year of college football, but I still, made the team, was a walk-on, and because of that, wanted to gain as much weight as possible. So I got up to 260 pounds. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm not someone who was like extremely overweight and not active. I was 260 pounds, which, believe me, that's a big boy, but I was still active, lifting weights, running, and things like that. I just had a lot of excess fat around my belly area and like up in my face and chin. So when I quit playing college football, I was like, well, I'm not going to the NFL and I'm just going to focus on my career. So there's no point in me being all this weight. I definitely want to lose a lot of it. But that's where I started to struggle because I got up to 260 pounds and then I didn't have a good routine for losing that weight and maintaining it. So fast forward 2011, I moved to New York City, wanted to focus on my career. And a buddy of mine who also played college football, I went to visit him in Boston and he had lost a significant amount of weight. He had a six-pack. And I was like, dude, how'd you do it? Like, tell me. I'm having trouble losing all the weight. And I'll never forget this. He said, shout out Brendan. He said, all I do is play basketball and jump rope. And then he stressed the jump rope part of it and was like, dude, just pick up a jump rope and try it out. So I went back to New York City. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods in Times Square and I got this jump rope, pretty basic jump rope, like 10 or 15 bucks. But I remember that it had weights in the handles, not very heavy, maybe like a quarter pound, but the rope wasn't weighted. It was actually in the handles. After that, I picked up jump rope right away. Like as soon as I started doing it and it started clicking, of course I wasn't very good at first, but as soon as I started matching jump rope with music and realizing how awesome and fun of a workout that is, I became totally hooked. I was probably doing 4, sometimes 5 workouts per week with the jump rope, anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes. There was actually this park on the Upper East Side where I used to jump. Funny story, I was jumping one day and a little kid about 5 years old ran behind me and I didn't see him and he got whipped with my jump rope. I felt really bad, but I didn't, there was nothing I could do. So kid, I hope you're okay. So that's how I got into jump rope, but now I want to talk about why it stuck and why I was able to lose so much weight because of that. So like I said, as soon as I started skipping, I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to keep doing this. Again, I mentioned liking to do it because of music and fun. I felt like I could get this kind of like dance, HIIT style cardio workout in. So it just appealed to me more than regular running. I could also take it anywhere, so the barrier to exercising was lower. I didn't have to go to a gym and get all kinds of fancy equipment. I did it often in the office that I worked at, so it just made it very easy to execute. Another thing I liked about it was that it was flexible. If I was feeling a little bit stressed or had a little extra time on my lunch break, I could do it for 10 minutes and then maybe 20 minutes later in the day, or I could hit a full workout, but just always keeping it on me and knowing that I could get up and move my body was helpful because I definitely suffer from ADHD and I'm a little bit hyper, and sometimes, just having 5 to 10 minutes to go and skip helped me out a lot. The other reason jump rope stuck was because, like I said, the first rope I had was a little bit weighted. The thing I loved about it the most was it felt like I was doing a cardio workout like running, but it also gave me this kind of like pump that you get when you're lifting weights. Of course, it wasn't exactly the same as doing, super heavy weight on bench press, but just being able to engage every muscle in my body, including my upper body, was something very appealing. Like, look, exercise sucks. Let's just call it what it is. Exercise sucks, so you should pick the activity to lose weight that you hate the least. So I'm not saying you have to love it. Well, I actually did really enjoy jump rope, but I really did not like running. I really did not like cycling. And so jump rope for me was like, yeah, I'll probably be consistent at this because I don't mind doing it as much as other exercises. So next I want to talk about the physical changes that I was able to experience and why I feel like jump rope totally transformed my life. For the first time time in my life I got a six pack. When I went from 260 to 190, I got a six pack, and I have never had one in my life. I've always been a guy who I can gain weight really fast. I never could be a skinny guy. I always could gain muscle somewhat fast from lifting weights, but the downside is I could also gain a lot of fat. When I lost all that weight and saw my abs for the first time, I was like, oh, whoa, this is new. Like, this is a new level of confidence that Dan Whitber has not achieved before. So I think it put into my head like, oh, I can do this. I can still be physical and look the way I want and feel the way I want. So that was a really cool physical change that gave me a lot of confidence. Also, maintaining those results once I lost all that weight became easier with jumping rope. Between doing bodyweight exercises and a little bit of weightlifting, because I was still doing that when I initially made the transformation, and skipping, burning a bunch of calories just became easier because I had all these different outlets to do it with. And like I said, I really enjoyed jump rope. So once I lost all that weight, I didn't like gain it. I didn't even gain half of it back. Like, I've stayed in the 190 to 200 range for a very long time. No, that's not true. There have been a few times where I've gone over the 210 mark. I made a video about that recently, but it's typically only for like a week, not even. And then I'm always able to lose that and stay within that range. Jumping rope helped me to start just feeling overall better. My joints, I felt lighter on my feet. I felt younger. I started playing basketball again, walking long distances. So I just felt more alive, which was cool because in my young 20s, I was very active, but I was also like not taking great care of my body. And so it felt to be in my mid to late 20s and being able to, you know, be active again and feel good. Another thing physically that I've noticed that I've talked about a lot on this channel is, so I grew up skateboarding. I didn't do it like a ton, but I grew up being familiar with skateboarding and skating a lot when I was in like middle school. So 5 years ago, I started skateboarding heavily again and surfing. Now this is at the age of 30. And now I'm definitely not an advanced surfer compared to the pros or anything like that, but I do feel like I've progressed a significant amount, and I owe my body's ability to being able to do these extreme sports again to the fact that I've jumped so much rope and have kept my body in really good shape. In other words, I definitely attribute my balance, stamina, paddle power in the water all to jumping rope. I'm 35 years old, and again, dudes surf way bigger waves than I do, so I'm not trying to act like, you know, I'm out here doing something spectacular, but I've definitely surfed some pretty big waves, and at 35, that is a huge confidence boost because I was not even swimming in my 20s. Like, I was drinking a ton of beer, I was overweight. Yeah, sure, I was lifting weights and stuff, but what I'm saying is in my 30s, I feel like a 20-year-old, whereas in my 20s, I felt like I was in my 30s. Next, losing all this weight with jump rope helped me change a lot mentally. Firstly, weight loss or getting fit is inevitably going to cause a boost in confidence because you feel better about yourself when you lose all that weight, and it's because you did what you said you were going to do. So when that takes place and you actually lose the weight, that tells your mind, like, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, which definitely has a spillover effect into other areas of your life. Another thing mentally is I had a better outlet to deal with stress if I was upset, if I felt like work was too hard. Just skipping and putting some music in and sweating and getting those endorphins flowing, which just gave me another outlet other than drinking alcohol or driving a car, you know, at really high speeds and potentially getting into a crash. I've also always struggled with depression, and jump rope has definitely helped me get out of my head more. And I think just deciding sometimes to exercise, like sometimes I, for lack of a better phrase, just feel like shit and I can't really help it. But one thing I've noticed is that jump rope has been the tool to serve as this like catalyst for me getting into a better place mentally. If I'm spiraling and I'm just not in a good place mentally and I go outside or even inside and start jumping rope, it spurs something in me that starts to change the way I'm thinking, and then usually I'm able to eventually get out of that depressive phase. And one thing I've learned about depression is in fact just that. When you are spiraling, sometimes the best thing you can do is just take action on something, because that new input will likely move your brain into a different location, which might get you out of that spiraling mindset. Jump rope also changed my life in terms of my life purpose. Starting a business around jump rope is my dream. Like, I'm actually living out my dream. I think this is so amazing that I get to just like make videos and see people lose weight, have people hit me up that they lost weight. I think it's just gratifying for me to have discovered jump rope, lost all that weight, but then hear other people saying like, dude, the same thing happened to me when I discovered jump rope. I lost all this weight too, and I feel exactly how you do. And so it made me feel kind of validated in this world. Like, yeah, I had this idea. I did it, and other people are like, hey man, this is like, you're onto something. This is something that I've experienced as well. So just from a life purpose standpoint, I love this, man. It's so funny to me that this is how I make my income and job, because 10 years ago when I was working in New York City, or 12 years ago, I still wasn't even really familiar with YouTube and didn't really have the confidence that I could have my own business. So jump rope did in fact change my body and my mind, but it also literally changed my life and gave me this life where I sit on a microphone and talk to you guys and make workouts, build our app, go do meetups. You know, we have aminos, like all these things that I never thought were possible are what my life is now. So that's pretty cool. Another thing I don't want to gloss over is I often say that you can't rely on motivation, which is true. But listen, guys, I'm not oblivious to the fact that it's probably easier for me to stay motivated than most people because I am making content for you guys. So I kind of have to stay in shape. I'm just letting you know. I don't take that for granted. You know, like I feel like a part of the reason why I'm in really good shape is because I have to be. If I didn't have to be, maybe I would slack a little bit more. And so jump rope in a way and running jump rope dudes keeps me in line and is like, no, Dan, like too bad you're feeling lazy today. Like you got to shoot all these YouTube videos. So you have to get up and work out so that you can look and feel good. Also on the life purpose thing, dude, the messages that I have received or people sending me things like I lost a bunch of weight, I was going to commit suicide, and then I found your channel. I was addicted to meth, and then I found your channel and started jumping rope. Or I lost 10 pounds and I feel better as a stay-at-home mom. Or, you know, I lost 50 pounds in my college dorm room and now I'm just doing way better at school or whatever. Those messages and these interactions that I have with you guys, whether it be on the internet or in person, it's all I want. That's what like juices me up, dude. That's what makes me feel like, okay, I have purpose in this world. Like I'm not just, you know, out here not knowing what I'm doing. Like I feel in my veins like
I am the jump rope dude and I will continue to evangelize and spread the word
and like share this with people, because sometimes it gets hard when I'm just making content and I don't always like read some of the comments, and then, you know, it takes someone in person telling me like, hey man, I actually, you know, lost a bunch of weight because of your videos, and that's just something that means a lot to me. So, you know, if you've made a change because of jump rope, of course, drop a comment below and say what up. The next way it changed my life is financially. I mean, literally, I have a business around jumping rope and this is my sole income, which I think is funny because people still will come up to me and be like,
oh, cool, like that's a little part-time thing, like, so what's your real job?
But yeah, this is how I make my income. It's how I've been making my income for the past 8 years. And financially, I just never thought that this was possible. And I do have to admit to you guys, I'm not someone who gets off on like,
I'm an entrepreneur and like I love starting businesses.
No, I love jumping rope and I love being outside and surfing and hanging out with friends and family. But because I have this business, there are certain things about entrepreneurship or running a business that just like, it makes it really fun for me when I can like make certain videos and be like, ooh, look how much engagement this got, and like, oh, this video really resonated with people. How do I make more content? Like it's a big chess game for me, which is just really fun. I also really appreciate, you know, some days I wake up at 5 a.m., some days I wake up at 10 a.m. I really just like that I can plan my schedule and live in this free way. So again, this is not something I take for granted, but I share it with you guys because I'm just trying to be open about like, jump rope is not something that just changed my life in one way. It has impacted me in every single aspect of life. So my last point to this whole video, I think jump rope is the best overall fitness tool because you can lose weight, it engages every muscle in your body, you just more agility, athleticism, your reaction time's better, balance. It makes you feel younger as you get older. You can use heavy ropes for strength, or you can focus on speed ropes for more agility. You can take it anywhere. You don't need much space or equipment. So again, when it comes to fitness tools, I just think if you're someone who's trying to lose a significant amount of weight, you need to have jump rope as a part of your routine. All right, so that's my transformation story. Please comment below, ask any questions that you guys might have, because again, I started at 260 and now I pretty much stay in that, you know, 190 to 200 range. And lately I've been really good. I've been in that like 195-ish range. The last thing I want to leave you with is anyone watching this video, whether you only have 10 pounds to lose or whether you just want to get more fit so you feel better and it's not necessarily about weight loss, or maybe you have 100 pounds to lose, it is doable. Like I'm proof of that. A bunch of other people that have lost weight jumping rope are proof of that. So if you're someone who's doubting yourself, stop doing that. If you just do a little bit day by day, the weight will eventually come off, but you just have to be consistent with your actions, which is, again, do the thing. That's why I got it tattooed on my body. That's pretty much it. So appreciate the hell out of you guys. Drop a comment and I'll see you on the next video.